Hey everyone, this is Kieran from Isometric Physio. Today we're looking at sort of the very early stages of starting to build some awareness back into, say, the front of your neck. If you've had any injuries around like head knocks, concussions, whiplashy type stuff, then this can be a good place to start, particularly if there's still, potentially some pain. So we're going to be looking at sort of entry-level stuff. So if you've been looking at some of the other videos and you think, maybe they're a bit too hard, this would be a good place to start. So when you're thinking about entry-level awareness or exercises for any region of the body, what we need to do is create a situation where we can feel that area. And with muscles, how we feel them usually is via stretch. And those muscle spindles pick up a stretch response, and then our brain sort of picks it up, and then it goes back down and we get the appropriate output or the appropriate force output. Now this can be a learned thing over time. Sometimes it can be a bit of a false sense of where you are. It depends how chronic the issue is and what your sort of sensory motor map in your brain starts to look like over time. We know that different areas can sort of spread and pick up real estate of other areas nearby if they haven't been used as much. The cool thing is we're very plastic and we can make changes, but they have to be deliberate, and there has to be attention, and there has to be a level of difficulty to them as well. So that difficulty doesn't necessarily mean pain, but depending on the type of pain you have, that might be a pain that's okay to push through. It might not be. And that's where you have to get the input of a professional. So if you are in pain, I do recommend filtering that through a professional first nearby so you can sort of get started on your own program. But if that's sort of passed and all things are nice and healed, then this would be a nice place to start. And so we can start a little bit with isometrics, but we want to be in a situation where the muscles are going to go through some form of stretch, right? Now that stretch could be eccentrically, so they're loaded that way, deliberately, or they could be from the muscles on the other side pulling your head back. So what I mean by that is the muscles on the back of my neck here could pull my head up, and then what happens is I'm shortening my back neck muscles, but then I'm lengthening the front ones. And so as I move through that, my brain's aware of, oh, this side of the joints or the side of the neck is lengthening, and so I have an awareness then of where everything is in space. So it's a bit tricky if we're just doing isometrics and pushing, but not to say that isometrics don't have their uses as well. So we're going to be sort of doing a little bit of a flavor of these things to start with. So I've got a little yoga block. Don't have to have a yoga block. You could just use your hands like this. The benefit of the yoga block is it can start to lift you up a little bit higher. And so what you're really going to be looking for here is that you're going to move through a variety of ranges, and you're going to see, okay, well, which one feels challenging? And by challenging, it's like, it's hard to create force, okay? So I'm going to start with this one, and what I'm going to try to do is crush my hands with my forehead. So I'm pushing down into the ground. So I'm crushing my hands. Push, 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 push. I can still talk, I can still breathe. Might feel other synergistic muscles kick in, like my abdominals are kicking in a little bit. But now, if I raise this up a little bit and go into the yoga block, that becomes a bit of a different situation because the muscles at the front of my neck are a bit longer. Now, if I double it up, and so for me, I'm not feeling as much synergistic contraction. So I need to work on this one a little bit and work on pushing, 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 pushing. And now I'm starting to feel the muscles at the front of my neck. And now the abdominals are kicking in. And then relaxing. So I might do a 10-second hold. And then push, 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 push. Keeping in mind that my elbows are helping to support me here a little bit. I'm not just hanging off my neck. And then pushing, pushing, pushing. So it's not to say you have to get up into some crazy situations like this, unless maybe you have a job or a sport or a task that requires that kind of strength of you. For example, like a rock climber that's maybe a B-lane down the bottom, they're going to have to be looking up for long periods of time. Probably the better way to strengthen that is going to be to do the task and actually do the B-lane. But if you need an entry point to bridge that gap to get you back to the climbing, then this can be a nice way to do it. So keep it simple, keep it basic, just sort of go between different heights. You could even go onto the ground and then just slowly work into a height that's comfortable and start pushing down, and you'll get a lot of that neck flexor activation. As always, just remember to keep breathing, maybe even check in that you can still swallow, just so you're not co-contracting some of your swallowing muscles, so that they're dissociated and able to do their separate jobs. So start here, keep it basic, hold for 5-10 seconds, have a rest, hold again, until you build some awareness, and then you can move into our second exercise with the blood pressure cuff. If you like this video, then please hit like below. Otherwise, to check out more of our content in the future, you can subscribe to our channel by clicking our logo over here. And to check out our latest video, click up here.